In an earlier vidcast, I briefly touched on management agreements and also on management rights as a form of property management. In this instalment, I'd like to expand on the subject, since this type of property management continues to become more common. From time to time, you might find yourself faced with an opportunity to buy into a property which isn't one that would be managed by a local property manager or by yourself. Often this situation can occur when you're looking at a property which may be in a tourist area and therefore let out on a holiday basis. There are a number of ways that a property like this can be managed, and one of them is via a vehicle known as a management agreement or under management rights. Now, these agreements are very common in Queensland, and the right to manage a complex of apartments is usually sold by the developer prior to the completion of the apartment block. Even though it's in place before you are, a management agreement refers to a written contract between the owners of the property, often as a body corporate, and an experienced operator. It'll consist of a list of requirements of this manager, along with a schedule of remuneration for his or her services, typically expressed as a percentage of gross or net revenue. When this management agreement is sold to the manager, it typically comes with either some real estate, like maybe an apartment, or possibly some rights over common property, like a reception, a gym, or a restaurant. Be very careful that when you read management agreements before you buy a property, that all associated expenses are contained within, or at least included in, the expressed percentage management fee. Too often, investors are told about the management fee, but not informed about any associated expenses, which can sometimes push a 10% management fee up to 30 or 40% of profits. Further, some of these expenses are fixed and they don't depend on how much income you make, and they can include items like linen fees, telephone charges, electricity on common property, advertising and marketing, and a whole host of other expenses typically incurred when running a tourism property. Where a manager has been retained via a management agreement and there's no associated granting of real estate or retail rights, it's usually fairly simple to terminate his or her services if the grounds are just. However, where they've been provided with an apartment or other property, it's much harder. Before buying a property under a management agreement, ensure that you're familiar with the exit clause and that there is one, and that there's not a large cost to terminate a poorly performing manager.